Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the r/sp podcast. I'm Bo, and I'm here with Eli. Dude, you did the same thing. Like, say something. Like.
What do you want me to say? Do you want
literally anything? Oh, hey guys. Like literally anything.
You know what I always envisioned in my head? I envisioned you'd be like, all right, da-da-da. Hey guys, RSP podcast. My name's Bo. This is my podcast.
But this isn't my. It's our podcast.
This is my co-host Eli. I say hello. I'm Eli, and then you go back into what we're going to talk about. Like that should be the future format. I feel like.
Okay, do it again.
Start again. How about okay? Yeah, you keep all this in. By the way, don't get rid of any of this. Keep all this in.
I agree. You want to try and redo it like the good?
No, we're keeping all this in.
Okay.
This is a part of the story.
Okay. This is a part of we'll fix it. We'll fix it in episode 2. We'll get our intro down by then. So I'm Bo. For everyone who doesn't know anything about us in general, from Arkansas, and yeah, me and Eli went to school together. That's about all the lore I feel like I can give. Is that what?
Say the name of the school. Say the name of the
I don't want to say the name of the school. I just don't feel comfortable doing that.
What city are you in right now?
What city?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. You
just said we were in Arkansas.
Okay, I said I was born in Arkansas and I went to school with Eli. But right now I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
You're from Arkansas. You already admitted that we're both from Arkansas.
Yeah, from past tense. That's not where I am right now.
So at some point in your life, you moved to Atlanta. Is basically what you're trying to fool the audience into believing.
Yeah.
I know your address. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say it.
You know, the funny thing is that you decided that I was the one. Fucking voice crack. I'm gonna hate that whenever you listen. I'm the one who records this shit, so I can edit anything you say out, you know?
Can you bleep it out? Can you bleep it out if I say your address?
I could bleep it, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to say it.
Would you have said it if I couldn't have bleeped it?
My name's Eli. Me and Bo have been how long have we been friends? Like, since high school. We're high school friends.
I'd say a little bit earlier. Yeah, honestly, maybe not good friends, but we were friends, I'd say, before high school.
We've been friends since the 8th grade. I've known Bo forever. He's a great guy. That's such bullshit.
I'm sorry.
You're like an asshole, bro. You were always such a
shitty
person.
Eli, you're
always such a shitty person to me in high school.
Eli,
you were like a... I remember I used to... When I would wake up in the morning and I knew I had to go to school, I would cry because I knew I had to see this guy. This guy was horrible to me in high school.
For the audience at home, I just want all of you to know that Eli is probably the worst person I've ever met. He is the most bigoted, racist, homophobic, transphobic. He's just horrible. I'm gonna bleep half of those out, so they don't even know what I'm saying. They don't even know what type of phobic you are. It's so bad.
It's not me. Stop it.
Stop.
So in this, we should. Why did you want to? Because I know why I wanted to start this, but why did you want to start this? Because we both agreed, over the years we've talked and we've been like, you know what, we got to start this. We got to do this. We have to record episode 1, upload it, just see how it does.
We've been talking about this since at least the 8th or 9th grade.
Why did you want to do it? Tell me the story of how you came to want to do this.
Honestly, I feel like I sort of just like venting a lot of the times. I really do just like talking about shit. Just even if no one really cares what I'm saying. And I think part of the allure of a podcast is that if you upload it online, enough people will see it, and then some of those people might be interested in what you have to say or what you do. And I've always thought, maybe I could just talk about whatever I felt like, and someone would listen. And I just sort of like that. I sort of like that someone is just hearing what I'm saying, and even if they agree or disagree, I sort of like. Even just hearing the opinions in general, I just think it's, I don't know, I like talking. I like sharing my opinion. What about you?
Me, it's a couple different things. I always have loved a sense of community. There's nothing better, and I feel like you could agree with this. There's nothing better than when you have a group of friends and you guys all have like an inside joke with each other and nobody else gets it except for the people in that group. So I've always loved that sense of like community, like especially online communities. Like anytime you follow like certain YouTubers or certain streamers or influencers like who are really big in like content creation, they always have like their own inside jokes and their communities always like understand certain things about them. So I like the idea of being able to build that because I've always been like a part of that from like the other side, never really the content creation side. But I also agree. I think like I like the idea of venting. I like the idea of talking. Really, at the end of the day, me and you are just both two narcissists who are going to
It's probably true.
But I like the idea of venting, and I like I really have always been fascinated by the idea of like having something, like having kind of like a copy of myself online.
So you can
like,
go back?
Exists long after I'm dead. Like I always thought about this. Like
I'm
when
sure
you die,
I was gonna say like
die,
I think I might be saying what you're about to say, but like I'm sure you've heard this before that like there are sort of two types of deaths. There's like the physical death, and then the last time someone utters your name or remembers you.
Literally, yeah, exactly. I mean, how many times, like, how many people do you think, how many years after you die, do you think it will take for, like, the last person who remembers you or who knows about you to die and for your name to basically just be lost to history, right? How many years after your death do you think that'll happen? Because obviously your immediate family will remember you.
Honestly,
you know,
I think that like that's part of the reason why just humans in general like having kids. It's just because like maybe they'll remember great grandpappy Bo or great grandpappy Eli. Like
that's the fucking thing.
It's like the only way for you to like assuredly have people remember you outside of becoming known famous for discovering something or being a famous person or doing whatever. You really just. I don't know.
Even with your kids, like, I mean, the normal, that's how, like, the normal person can do it. Like, the normal person can kind of, like, outlive...
Yeah, but not everyone has kids, is the thing.
But, like, it really takes, like, those truly great people to, like, be remembered, like, by their name alone. Like, not because they're kids, but they're remembered because of what they did in their life. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's interesting because with the internet, we now have an opportunity that only, like Isaac Newton... If he hadn't have, like, discovered the concepts that he discovered, if he hadn't, like, created those concepts, he wouldn't be remembered today. But with the internet, now everybody has the opportunity to basically upload, a version of themselves. And it really depends on how much of yourself you put online. But, like, for the rest of eternity, if this goes online, somebody will be able to find it, somebody will be able to access it, and they'll be able to know, okay, this guy named fucking Eli existed at one point in time. And he existed this many years ago. You know, this is what he thought on these particular things. I mean, whatever we end up talking about in this episode. But, like, that is so fascinating to me. Like, a digital clone. Like, because we all have digital footprints. But, like, a digital clone. Like, a fully realized version of yourself online. Through, you know, stuff you post on Instagram, like a podcast, stuff like that. I like the idea of that. I like the idea of being able to... You know, for somebody to at least know that I existed at one point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like at least one or two Black Mirror episodes where that is the entire plot, where it's just they just find, or there's one in particular. I remember one in particular where they just straight up scan a person's brain, and another like more similar to what you're talking about, where they just go online and base everything. They essentially recreate a human based off their persona online.
Yeah. If you think if you could do that, you would do it? Like, if you, I guess you would probably be in, like, a state of sleep. I mean, you wouldn't want to just, like, exist in cyberspace. I mean, there's no telling...
No, so that's sort of, like, the fucked up thing about it is... And there are a couple different sci-fi, like, genres that, like, mess with this idea, where you essentially, like, clone a person's brain, you know? So your brain, as far as you're concerned, you're still human. And you just woke up being, you know, some AI or being some part of like a central intelligence system or something like that. And you just wake up as this thing. You wouldn't really like know, like there's no like, oh, like I'm like it's not it's two different consciousnesses, because the moment you're conscious, like you split between, you know, being the human to being uploaded to whatever the fuck, like you're two completely different people, because the moment you start experiencing different things, I think at least, is when you become different entities entirely.
That sounds like ass. Who would want to do that?
Well, I think in the Black Mirror episode, I'm pretty sure the whole idea is that you essentially have like a little mini you, like, you know, Austin Powers, like a little mini me that will just be a part of, you know how like smart homes are a thing where you can, like, you know, oh, I'm gonna make my floor heated or cooled depending on the weather, and you can change the fans and cooling and all that shit. You basically, in the Black Mirror episode, they upload this person to her house, her smart house, and like the cloud version of her, like on the web, basically becomes a slave to the human version. Honestly, I hate this. I feel like we're becoming one of those like I say this, we're only one episode in. I feel like we're becoming one of those topic podcasts where they're like, oh, did you know about this thing that happened? Oh, you
those two Asian guys on fucking TikTok that are all like, bro, have you heard of the conspiracy theory of fucking...
Yes, they're the Asian guys, but there are many, many other versions. And they might not be as obvious as them, I feel, but they're like very similar. Like, I know there's this one podcast where they go through like unsolved murder mysteries, or maybe they might even be solved, I don't remember. They just go through murder mysteries, and the whole thing that they do is that one of them is like clueless, and the other one knows everything about the topic at hand or whatever.
You're like, whoa, that actually happened?
Yes! Yeah, oh my god! I want to when that happens. Like, I understand the appeal, like it's sort of like, oh, like it almost feels like I'm being, like, I don't know anything about this, so I feel like I'm getting explained. I'm not talking about you! Wait, what?
You can't say blow your brains out, bro. We're not gonna get monetized.
I'll edit it. Fuck off.
No, you can't edit it because now people are gonna like be like, oh, what did he say? Bo basically said he wanted to self-delete. You can't say that on YouTube, bro.
I can say whatever I want. Why do we give a fuck about monetization? Like, why would we ever care about that?
Why are we doing this? Like, I'm trying to get some money, bro. I'm trying to make money. Fuck the fans, bro. If you're watching this, fuck all the fans, bro.
Fans. I totally...
If we build a following in the future, and you guys come back and watch the first episode, fuck the
You guys are idiots. I can't believe you guys have been on for this long.
We're doing this for money. We're not doing this because we care about anybody. We're doing this to make money.
Fuck
it's
you.
Gonna
It has to.
Yeah, you can't say you're gonna have to. I mean, you can't delete it now. I might as well keep it in. But like, literally, I'm just saying. In the future, when we become like Mr. B size, like you can't say stuff like that. Like they're gonna take away our monetization. We're gonna have to move to Rumble. We're gonna have to move to Kick. We're gonna have to do gambling streams.
I don't want to do gambling streams. Honestly, I've always been worried about a lot of different types of addiction, and I feel like gambling is one that I would definitely be prone to. Like,
for the longest time, my dad wasn't alcoholic, but my dad had a bit of like an alcohol dependency thing, which I guess you probably just say is alcoholism.
Okay.
But my dad had an alcohol thing, and for the longest time, I feared like really getting into drinking. Because I was like, oh man, like, I don't know, I have some like addictive, like, you know, personality traits in my family. But like, honestly, like, it's really, you know, I think like I was a little too afraid of it, like, because now that I'm at that point in my life where I'm drinking, it's made my life better. Like, I really have improved in many different ways because of drinking. You know,
that's the alcoholic mindset. I'm glad you're finally giving in.
You gotta think, when you're drunk, so for anybody that's never like had a sip of alcohol before, when you drink, for all of our 13-year-old fan base, whenever you drink, it's kind of like the world is better. Like your world, you feel more happy like about everything. But no, in all seriousness, when you drink, it's like everything that you are usually worried about like goes away. Like, if you have a joke in your head that you're thinking about saying, but you know, you don't know if people laugh at it. I feel like when you drink, you're just more likely to say that joke. Like, you're less likely to think about, you know, oh, is the joke funny? Like, are people going to laugh at it? Like, you just say stuff. And it's even better when the people around you are, like, drunk as well, because they'll laugh at your dumb jokes. So it's really, like, it's fun. Like, there is genuinely no better feeling than getting, like, a group of your friends, getting a couple drinks, and just enjoying, you know, drinking. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I know what you mean. I really, like, this is literally happening the other night. I really do like the feeling of just getting, like, a lot of people that you like together, drinking, and then making them laugh. Like, it's just, it's so satisfying. Like, bro, even if it's just, like, a simple joke, it will literally make my night. Like, it's...
So without doxing anybody, I was having a conversation with a mutual friend. We both know him the other day, and you're gonna know who I'm talking about based off of the way I described this conversation. Continue. We were talking about, like, drinking. Like, first of all, I was trying to convince this particular person, mutual friend of both me and you.
I already know who you're talking about. I already know.
The fact that I even brought him up, we both know who I'm talking about. But I was trying to convince him, like, this coming year, because for the audience, for you guys' information, me and Bo are both in college. We're both college students. We both go to college in Arkansas, but we both go to different universities. But
okay, call this mystery call them, like, Mr. S or something.
How about let's give him, like, a funny name, like a Sonic character or something. Let's say Tails. This is Tails, right?
Okay, yeah.
I'm talking to Tails, and Tails is, like, for the audience's information, like, he, you know, after high school, he decided not to go down the college route, but he also has, like, had, like, just a bit of, like, kind of, like, a complicated time trying to figure out what he's doing. So he's mostly just kind of, like, chilling at home right now, but he's figuring stuff out, right? Like, we all are, okay?
Why are we talking about this, like, in the first episode? I feel like there's so much better things to talk about than this one random guy.
I'm just trying to...
Are you trying to make a point, or is this, like...
It goes into our conversation.
Okay, continue. So, my bad. Continue.
And I just... The only reason I want to address this is because if anybody else thinks like this, I want to be able to correct it right now. So I'm just using him as an example. So I'm talking to our... Like, me and Bo's mutual friend, Tails, right? Tails the Fox. And Tails the Fox was, like, we were having a conversation. I was trying to convince him at some point this next year to come up to my university so that we could hang out and, like, have a couple drinks. But he's, like, really against, like, going to college campuses for some reason, because he thinks that, like, they're, like, lame, and he thinks college parties are dumb, and, like, especially in Arkansas. Like, I think it's specifically because they're in Arkansas, because he's lived a bunch of different places, but he's from Arkansas, or grown up in Arkansas, but he really doesn't have, like, a high view of Arkansas. So he doesn't want to go to, like, an Arkansas college party. And, you know, through that conversation, like, while I was trying to convince him about that, I was like, oh, it was cool, like, we can all hang out and drink together. And he was like, drink? Like, bro, if I drink, I just drink as much as possible, as quick as possible, and I just try to, like, get as drunk as possible, because, like, I literally don't enjoy drinking any other way. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you never just get, like, a little tipsy? Like, because I think with drinking, there's, like, levels to it, obviously. Like, you have, like, a little buzz, tipsy, and then drunk. And everybody, you know, for people inexperienced with drinking, you always want to kind of maintain a level around the middle. You don't want to get too drunk to where you can't enjoy the night or remember anything, but you also want, like, a bit of a strong buzz. And I was telling him that, but this guy, like, so this guy's only really, like, been drunk, like, 4 times in his life, or only really drank 4 times in his life, and every single time he, like, drinks as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and ends up, like, sleeping out in the front yard, and, like, he doesn't enjoy it. And I keep telling him, the reason you don't enjoy it is because you're not doing it right. Like, for people who don't understand, drinking is very much a skill. Like, you have to, it's a balance of a lot of different things. Like, I
personally think it depends on, like, what you're drinking and how quick you're drinking it. Because
he kept saying all this, like, bait, like.
Well, no, yeah, I know it sounds basic, but you're specifying people who haven't drank before. But, like, literally, the person that we're talking about has probably only had
Tails the Fox. You're talking about Tails the Fox?
Yeah, I'm talking about Tails. Tails the Fox has only had a couple, you know. When I say drinks, I mean, like, getting drunk. Has only had a couple drinks in his life, and like this guy just doesn't know how to drink outside of just being an absolute idiot. Because I think whenever you're young and you have unlimited access to, not, I wouldn't necessarily unlimited, but just any amount of alcohol, you will drink whatever the fuck you can get your hands on, because it's whatever the fuck you can get your hands on.
Yeah, especially when you're underage drinking, which we don't advise, by the way, but it is very fun.
No, it sucks. But if you want
underage drinking,
yeah, underage drinking is horrible, but it's a great way to figure out what your tolerance is early on.
It's also a great way to practice for when you really have to know how to drink. Because again, I just want to reiterate.
Yeah, I would agree. Getting used to the taste, not throwing up, like just like it's yeah. You continue.
And also, if you ever have like a blackout moment, you kind of want to have it when you're young. I feel like you don't want to.
Yes.
You never want to like have a blackout moment like when it counts. Like I've blacked out before, which is the weirdest feeling in the world is like blacking out and then waking up the next morning and just like asking everybody what happened, because everybody's hungover and like they don't really like want to talk to you, so like everybody's explaining it really shittily.
So basically everyone looks at, like you said, like, oh, what happened, and they look at you and they're just like, oh my god, it's that guy.
Or they'll give you or they'll give you like some basic ass answer. They'll be like, oh yeah, we just like walked around, and like you want specifics, because especially if you're not used to like drinking and blacking out, you want specifics. Like you want to know exactly what happened, because it's a very like unique and weird experience to not remember the night before. So you want like specifics, and everybody else is like, oh, it's like nothing, we just walked around. I'm like, okay, but like what happened? Like how
did I kill someone? Tell me, please.
Because it is like, I remember kind of like feeling weird, because I have a really high tolerance. Like I can put away a lot, but I get drunk. Like I still get drunk, but I can put away a lot of alcohol. And I remember waking up in like another mutual friend of ours. I remember waking up in his dorm room at his college, which is close to my college.
Understood.
And I remember waking up on a beanbag with like red shit all over my shirt, and I thought like I was like wondering, like, did I have like a nosebleed? Did I punch somebody? Like, why is there blood on my shirt?
Sounds like you threw up.
Yeah, I found out later it was fucking like it was crusted over like vomit. But like I guess I just went like sicko mode that night.
Yeah,
You go.
I was gonna say I've had similar experiences. I wouldn't necessarily like. I feel like a lot of times when we talk about blackout, they're like, "Oh my god, I don't remember anything." And maybe this is just because I'm so used to like TV shows and movies, fucking over exaggerating how intense it was. But I swear to God, I've heard people talk about blackouts, and it just sounds like it's fucking. You can't remember anything from the night. I have like grayouts. If that's a blackout, I have grayouts. I will remember everything up to a certain point. And then after that, it becomes like choppy, like the edited pieces out. Like I can't remember like specifics, but I know just about kind of sort of maybe what happened. And I've literally been like just as drunk as you have been. I remember it is literally called like Victorian lemonade, dude. Victorian lemonade, which has real lemons in it, plus any type of vodka, unless it tastes like flavored and it's like shit. It was like drinking nothing. It was probably like one of the most I've ever drinking in my entire life, and it tasted like nothing. It tasted like Minute Maid, and that shit was so dangerous. I woke up exactly like you like just like you said, like just shit around my mouth.
When you maintain a certain level of drunkenness, the perfect way to describe it is whenever you go from situation to situation, you never remember the transition. Like, so for example, in ordinary life, say you're like, say you're going, like you're on a university campus and you're going from class to class and you're sober. You will remember being in class, class is excused, you get up from your desk, you walk to your next class, you walk across the courtyard of whatever university you're at, you go into your next class, you sit down, you focus on the lesson. But when you're drunk, it's almost like it cuts out like all the fluff. You don't really remember the transition from anything. So for example, if you're drunk and you're going from class to class, you might remember being in class. You might remember walking, but you don't remember the transitionary period in between those moments. So you remember sitting in class, getting up, and then you remember walking, and then you remember sitting down, but you don't remember like, transitioning from one point to another. At least that's the way I describe it. And when you're blackout drunk, like, for me, the big defining factor that determines whether or not I end up remembering the night before is if I go to sleep. So, for example, if I'm drunk when I'm hanging out with my friends, if I stay awake for the rest of the night to the point where I can eventually sober up, I'll remember everything. But if I'm drunk and then I go to sleep and I wake up sober, I'm not remembering like the last like hour of the night before when I was awake. Do you experience that? Have you ever been, like, explain your blackout? Like, how does that look for you? Because that's how it looks for me.
No, it's really just... I do agree with the fact that you said, you know, it's like you really remember, like, the important pieces. Like, you remember the moments that stand out the most, which is just pretty typical of just human memory in general. And I guess since it's aided by alcohol, it probably just makes it a little bit harder. But, like, for me, it's fairly similar. Like, I will hear or see something, and like, oh yeah, I remember that happening, but if I remember what the fuck we were talking about, or what was specifically said, I can't help you. Like, I know the motions, I don't know the intricacies. I'm not very... Yeah.
But getting, like, kind of going back towards, you know, me talking with Tails the Fox. You know, he kept arguing with me, like, and he's a very persistent arguer. Like, he doesn't like being wrong, and he doesn't like being, having his mind changed.
I want to say this about Tails real quick. Tails is the most... Like Tails is like la cucaracha. Like, they will
cunt?
No, like a cockroach. Like Tails will survive anything. It doesn't matter what you tell them. It doesn't matter how well you explain it. Tails will ration themselves to make themselves just... I don't even know how to explain it. Just like to make themselves
win. Him. I mean, you can say it's a guy. You can say it's a guy.
I mean, I know Tails. I mean, Tails is asexual.
Okay, but we're talking about our version of Tails the Fox.
We're not talking about the 149 series of Sonic.
Look,
I just made that up. I have no clue what I'm talking about. No. Okay. We're talking about a hypothetical person. I was just shitting around. But like, I swear to God, Tails could literally... You could show that guy 9/11, and Tails would be like, what? Nah, can't be.
Yeah, he's a pretty stubborn guy. He's a good friend of ours, and
love Tails.
Yeah, we love the guy, love him as a brother, but he can be a pretty stubborn person to talk to. But like, I was sitting and we like.
Wait, what are we gonna do when we get Tails on the podcast? Are we gonna call them Tails? Are we gonna like... At
that point, when he comes on the podcast, if he wants to reveal himself, we can reveal himself. And also, you do know that if we talk about it, say we bring his name back up in episode 43. In order to maintain consistency, we're gonna have to remember the nicknames that we give people.
I will. Yeah, no, I got you. I'll make a
note of it. So we're gonna have to remember that from this point on, you know, this particular friend is gonna have to be referred to as Tails the Hedgehog until we otherwise get permission to mention his name.
That's true. But I mean.
But once he comes on the podcast as a guest, which we want to have our friends come on as guests, and you know, kind of have like a little bit of like a alternate between like different people.
Also, did you say Tails the Hedgehog?
Sorry, I meant to say Tails the Fox. Sorry, I'm sorry, Tails. But we're gonna have him on eventually, and from that point on, if he wants to continue using the alias Tails, but I imagine he'll want to use his name. So
yeah, fuck that. We're using his name when he gets on here. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't want to refer to him as Tails forever. But anyway, we're having this conversation, and I'm trying to explain to him that drinking it's not just something you can do passively. You kind of have to, no matter the situation, no matter the context, no matter who you're hanging out with, you have to maintain a certain level of understanding and control, and kind of like it's a skill. You know what I'm saying? It's not just something you can do passively. You have to be focused on it a little bit, even if you're mostly focusing on everything else. You have to focus a little bit on what's going in your body, the context of the situation, how much you're ingesting, because alcohol is one of those things that, especially depending on your body type, it can catch up with you really quickly. So you have to be smart about how you do it. I have like kind of like a ratio in my head of how much I drink per hour, so that I can maintain a good level to stay at. But beyond that, unless somebody dares me, unless somebody triple dog dares me, I try not to go past that limit.
Yeah, I think I'm a little different just because, like, I swear, when some people take shots, they just, like, don't get phased. If I take a shot of, like, straight liquor, I will be immobile, like, not necessarily immobilized, but I just can't drink anything else for another, like, 10, 20 minutes. Like, it's just it for me.
See, I don't.
It's not even a thing where it's like, oh, like, I don't want to, like, have any more drinks than this. It's I physically will throw up if I have any more.
The only time that I ever start out the night with some shots is if somebody says, like, you know, you never want to be that one guy at the party who bitches out and is like, no, I don't want a shot, just give me a drink. So what I'll do, usually, if I have control of the situation, I have my way. What I'll usually do is I'll make a mixed drink, I'll make a cocktail, something with, like, very light alcohol in it, and then as the night progresses, I will, you know, as you get more and more buzz and you kind of reach your cruising altitude, I will adjust the ratio of alcohol to get to a point where I can take some shots, I can drink a little bit more, or I'll probably drink a couple beers. A beer is a good place to start if you're ever drinking. You never really, like, I started drinking with, like, hard liquor. Like, if you want to start out drinking, it's always a good idea to just get, like, a pack of beer and just get used to the taste of beer and used to the taste of, like, a beer drunk.
Yeah,
I think so, at least.
I don't know. I think it really just depends on what you have, what you can do.
If you're a kid,
Whoa! Kids should not be drinking. What the hell?
Yeah. If you shouldn't underage drink, ladies and gentlemen, but if you do, which I recommend, it's awesome. If you're underage drinking, you know, I understand, like, you'll drink whatever you can get your hands on. But if you have control over it, if you have really cool parents, like Bo's, if you have really cool parents
Shut
that
up.
buy you, I'm just playing, they don't do that. But if you have really cool parents that will, like, they don't mind, you know, chaperoning a situation where alcohol is involved, starting out with beer is a good place to start. Now, if you can't really control it, you know, you're stealing shit from your parents' liquor cabinet, you're getting, like, an older person to buy it. I understand the mentality behind getting somebody who's older to just get you the hardest thing you possibly can so you can, like, maximize drunkenness. But if I had a choice, like, I would just start out with, like, a beer. Like, start out, like, with just drinking beer, and then you can graduate, like, to shots and stuff like that. But we need to get back to the original story. I'm talking to him, and I'm trying to convince him, because he doesn't believe that tipsy is a thing.
Honestly,
like,
I was about to say, we got to get back to just, like, anything other than drinking. We've been on drinking for a while now.
We can move on from drinking after the story. Just let me finish it real quick.
Continue.
He thinks that, like, being tipsy is like a placebo thing. He doesn't think it's real. He thinks you're either sober or you're drunk. He's, like, very extreme about it. There's no in between. So I'm trying to convince him that, like, there is a middle ground. There is a comfortable middle ground to where you can enjoy the experience and not just, like, become an absolute retard in, like, the first, like, hour of, like, showing up to a place. And I'm trying to convince him of this, and I'm saying, like, bro, if you just go into any place and you get as drunk as possible as quickly as you can, like, you end up looking like an idiot. The one thing you never want to do in a situation where there's alcohol is be the drunkest guy in the room, because that is the quickest way to become, like, the laughing stock of, like, everybody in there. And I was trying to explain this to him, and he just wasn't clicking with him for some reason.
Eli.
Yeah?
Day of Reckoning? Sounds a little bit hypocritical to me, you know?
Oh, is this what we're getting into? Are we getting into this on the first episode?
No, we can't. No, continue.
Look, the Day of Reckoning...
No!
Pause. Down the line, you know, we can start to have that conversation, and we can let the audience in, but we can't let them know about the Day of Reckoning, the first episode. I'll just say this. I've had experiences with alcohol ranging from very minor to very extreme. It's always smart to drink responsibly. I've definitely had moments where I've made a fool of myself drinking. But I think that's just a part of maturing and growing up and kind of learning, you know, how to drink responsibly. I mean, unless you have somebody that can teach you, which, let's be honest, most people aren't learning how to drink from their parents. Most people, when it comes to drinking, they're self-taught. You know, you teach yourself how to be responsible with alcohol. You know those, like, kind of classic cliches: don't drink and drive, be mindful of what you say and do, but like unless you really like have somebody to sit there and like teach you all the intricacies of like how to carry yourself in a social setting while drinking, a lot of it is kind of like self-taught, especially if you're doing it on a college campus. But I'll say this: it's good to be around friends. It's good to have experiences while you're young, and I don't regret anything, and I'm really glad that day happened, and I wouldn't change anything about it.
Eli, we're already editing 70% of this episode out.
Are you being serious?
No, probably like 10%.
We should just upload the whole thing, unless
we can't. No, I'm gonna do some shit.
You think some stuff should be taken out?
I'll probably take out a few bits, like maybe where we're like very quiet or no one's saying it, like even if it's just like like that weird like awkward second where we're just sitting here going, I don't want that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That just
Look,
seems.
I'll say this: we can move on from drinking. No.
Yeah,
but to the people out there who haven't had their first sip of alcohol yet, don't be afraid of it. It's not. It is a skill.
No, wait. Be afraid of it if you have a history in your family of alcoholism.
No, what? No,
what?
No.
Yes, you should. That's like a real thing.
No, I understand that, but like, I mean, trust me, this is coming from somebody.
I'm not saying you should never have a drink, but I'm saying like don't get too comfortable.
Of course, but I'll say this. Look, this is my family history. I come from a long line of people who have. Who have issues with alcohol.
You know what's funny?
It's something you be like cautious of, but don't ever be afraid of it. Like as long as you can exercise some self-control and you're aware of certain factors that might influence your behavior, as long as you're aware and you know not to fall down that path, I don't think anybody should ever be afraid of any substance as long as they feel like they can control themselves.
Yeah.
But what were you saying?
I was gonna say I remember my dad used to tell me that his he didn't really know as much about my mom's side of the family, like when it comes to genetics, but when it came to his side, when considering alcohol, that we're not alcohol dependent, but we're alcohol like a little, like we kind of rely on it just a little bit, like literally what he said to me, where like on his side of the family that like there was a very common trend that they weren't necessarily alcoholics, like they weren't going to work drunk, but they drank a lot, like a lot.
Comes to any substance.
God, dude, I am literally going to hate myself when I re-listen to this recording because it's not even one of those things where I'm just no, it's just because like I'll randomly hear like a voice crack or a mispronunciation or.
No, yeah, I mean that I think just comes with experience. I mean, eventually we will have a rhythm after listening to episodes. And I think we'll get there.
I think one thing that I think you and me have gotten particularly good at, which I've only heard of before in esports, is like the sort of commentator talk, where where both of us, we don't want to talk over each other because we respect what each other person has to say and want them to get their word out, but at the same time, we like talking. There's a really good video I remember seeing. Like specify it with like StarCraft, like people talking over StarCraft. I forget exactly, but basically, whenever you were talking and I'm starting to say something, I'll like stop myself, or you'll hear something when I start to talk, and you'll say, "Wait a minute, what were you saying?" I feel like that's actually like a pretty good podcast conversation to have, but also I do not kind of like it because I feel like this is going to be what it's just sort of going to be like unless we have different conversations later. But I feel like a lot of the podcast is going to be like you talking and then me talking and then you talking and then me talking. I almost want to we got how
conversation works though.
Okay. I know. Yes, that is how conversations work, but it almost feels like the both of us are going like, "Oh, we're going to talk about this like how I feel on one topic." And then you start talking about like another topic from that topic. I don't know if that makes any sense. You like take a piece of it and start like talking about something, or I hear something that you say, and I'm like, oh my god, that reminds me of like a story or something I want to say, and I just like only talk about that where it has nothing really to do with like what you're saying. I'm not saying that's like necessarily happening right now, but I'm worried that that's what'll happen, or we'll just.
I think that we'll develop what I've heard with like a lot of podcast hosts. I mean, I don't watch too many podcasts that have like co-hosts. But from what I understand with a lot of them, it seems like they a couple episodes in, they do develop a bit of a shorthand, and they do develop a bit of a system. I think if I could conceptualize what I would imagine like the perfect formula to be, I think in the future we'll have, we will bring subjects to the podcast or to the recording that we'll specifically want to talk about, and we'll do our research and we'll talk about it to the other person. The other person will have questions we'll be able to answer. And then we'll have topics that we can go back and forth and that we know an equal amount about. And that can springboard in new conversations about other things. And I think we'll get comfortable with it more as we go. But before we completely move on to the next thing or end this episode, I don't know how long we've been recording.
No, yeah, we're good on. If you want, we can keep on going for a while.
If I could cut off, and we can leave this at that last section of the podcast, when it comes to alcohol or any type of narcotic or any type of drug or any type of substance you can take, there's always the risk that you could develop an unhealthy relationship with that substance.
Yeah,
I've seen it with alcohol. I've seen it with all types of substances.
You can see it with like fucking nasal products, like clearing your nose. Yeah.
Always be Nasopro. Always be aware. But don't ever be afraid of it. Don't ever be afraid of a substance, because any substance can be an opportunity to enhance a situation that you're in. When you're with your friends and you're passing around some magical herbs, there is like an enjoyment that you can gain from that. But if you're doing it every day, you have a problem and you really need to talk to your parents, and you probably need to get closer with your father, to be 100% honest. But that's all I have to say on that. I don't want to harp on that subject too much.
Was that for the podcast or not for the podcast? I honestly couldn't remember.
What'd you say?
Was that whole like rant about like for the podcast or not for the podcast? I honestly can't remember.
No, do you think I'm like saying that to you?
I don't know. Some part of me thought you did.
To the audience watching at home, never let your fear of something stop you from doing it. Always be willing to try things at least once, and be cautious of any problems that could arise from you doing that. But don't let that just veto any ability to do something. Just make an educated response.
I know I'm stealing a joke here, but kids, if you see a little white bag, just eat it.
Guys, look, if you find cocaine in your parents' dresser,
what is that from? I know it's Eric Andre. I know it's Eric Andre.
Yeah,
fuck.
If you find a little baggie of cocaine, do as much as possible. It's awesome.
It cannot hurt you. That's what he said.
It literally has no negative effect. Guys, if you have that guy at your school who's selling Xanaxes, do as much as possible and be sure to support him. It literally cannot hurt you, and there are no negative effects.
I know that guy. I know that guy.
What did you think of, we obviously went to the same high school. We know who the Zan Man was at school. What did you think of our school's local Zan Man?
I honestly, I liked him. I've never not liked him, to be honest.
Who are you talking about? Give me a hint so that I know exactly who we're talking about, because I know who I'm thinking of. There are like 3 Zan men.
3? I know like 2.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I'll just edit this out. I'm really gonna have to remember this, but
you don't know. Let's make it a challenge for me. Give me something that would help me know who they are, but don't say their name.
I could just send you their Instagram, but this is fun. Like I know what you mean. Oh, I feel like that's too obvious.
Is there a pic? Do one of these people? Did he get expelled? And do we have a picture of it?
No, we do not.
Okay, the other guy.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
The other guy.
I am not kidding. I might have to edit that out.
What?
I can't. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know how many people know about that, and I'd feel so bad.
When we upload this episode, are we advertising it?
No. It has nothing to do with that. Like, it's like a personal.
We don't know his name. They're not going to know his name. I don't want to.
Okay.
We're not.
Dude, some random kid on YouTube who finds this shit is not going to know who it is. But the 10 or 20 people who's eventually going to see this episode from our school will see this and know exactly who the fuck we're talking about.
Them knowing that we have a picture of probably not as bad as the fact that he sold like drugs at school, which is a crime. Like I feel like that's probably.
You know what? Fuck it. That is not who I'm talking about. The person that.
Wait. Let me guess. Is the guy you're talking about? Is he now a transsexual?
No.
Are they now? Sorry, they.
Yeah. You
okay. Is the guy you're talking about? Is he dating a? Is he dating?
Yes.
And does he have a lot of?
Yes. That is the person I am talking about.
I know who you're talking about. So, but the other guy, you know, I just want to see if you can guess. You can bleep this one out, but I'm gonna give you some hints. I want to see if you know who I'm talking about. This is the third guy, right? Not the asshole man or the plant man.
Yeah.
So this guy, he posts a lot of cringy TikToks. Okay. He now dresses very ambiguously, right?
Mm-hmm.
I shadowed under him when I was
Yep. Got it.
Say his name and bleep it out.
It's
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
Those were the three Zan people that I knew.
Yeah,
and I say Zan people. I knew they you know, you could get stuff from them. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, they honestly, they were all inconsistent. It really just depended.
I just like the term Zan man. Like, I don't think they were really doing that. I just like the term Zan man when I'm talking about a plug or anybody who sells.
Really,
deals
that's what you call them, just Zan men.
Yeah, the Zan men or the plant people.
I just say plug. It's like,
yeah, I just anybody.
A part of me feels like, oh, like. Maybe plug has become too memed, but also I don't think it has. I think I'm good.
I just call him Jerry. I just call mine Jerry.
In your context, like who's Jerry? Who's this Jerry person? I don't know.
I was gonna say his full name, but I don't want to say that.
No, I mean
I was gonna say his full name and have you not bleep it out, just so everybody knows, you know, in the Central Arkansas area to find, you know, Jerry.
I'll probably bleep like one or the other like detail out just to make it as not as specific as possible, but just specific enough.
We'll just call him Jerry.
Am I just gonna like voice over like the clips that we were saying earlier and say Jerry from fucking, oh my god,
Jerry from finance,
Jerry from Rick and Morty,
but Jerry Smith. Yeah, my plug is Jerry Smith from C137.
Yep.
What were we talking about? We were talking about, you know, the three individuals we were talking about before. How did we?
Something about Xanax. This is why we need a Jamie. We need a Jamie here to remember, because I swear this happens all the time.
Right now, I'm recording this laying down in bed. I think as we get more professional, I'm probably going to get like a pen and paper so we can keep track of certain things if we go on tangents.
Well,
that way we don't end up.
I'm more so saying a third party because I'm trying to make myself as little distracted as possible, like while talking and recording and all that. So
I mean, that's why I'm doing pretty well right now, because right now I'm laying in my bed, my eyes are closed, and I'm like in complete darkness. So literally all I can think about right now is just having this conversation.
You're seeing visions, you're seeing images,
and it is late at night. I want to clarify that to people. I'm not like this. It's not like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like in a dark room by myself. Like, it is late at night. My parents are asleep, and I am in my bedroom right now. So I just want to clarify that for the people. But
I'm a stud. I live in a $100 million mansion. No one lives with me. I got 10 bitches in each room. Yeah. Continue, Eli. Sorry, I just wanted to discern. I just wanted to discern my life from your life.
I can actually confirm that. But yeah.
I should have said bitches. That's a horrible thing to say.
I can remember why we brought up the Zan men, because we did bring them up for some reason. I just can't remember what.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Can we talk about the story of how we got the picture of one of their assholes like on our camera roll?
I know like half of the story.
Can we talk about this?
No, I don't want to talk about some kid's asshole. Like, this is not what I want to make the episode about.
No, you can't say that.
But it is.
How old was he?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it was during COVID, so probably.
To be fair, like in the picture, he's like twerking. Why is he like twerking? It's like that ninja video. Like
we're gonna have to edit like a lot of this out, but honestly, I just want to talk about this. That, I swear, it looked like it was meant to be. Like, it looked like it was posed. Like, it was like a photo shoot almost. But
didn't his girlfriend take it?
Exactly. But when I've ever heard the history of the photo, that was not the case. Apparently, it was a surprise photo. So I really
wait. Why is like bent over? He's like how his back arched.
The back was arched. We can't. I don't want to talk about this shit, dude. This is like, I want to make like as little. It's kind of hard to do like this early on, but like I want to make as little about this podcast about a school as possible. Like I wanted to make it about like just.
I mean, we never said. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh my god, maybe, you're right. I gotta bleep that out.
What? What do
I said the word. I said the S word.
What word?
The school word, bro. I gotta edit that out.
Did you say the name of the school?
No, I guess not.
Look, this is what I think. Yes, our close friends are gonna know who we're talking about, but the people like around the world aren't gonna know jack shit. And like honestly, what are the odds that any of the three people we just mentioned are ever going to see this video?
You know, that is very true, but this is just how I am. Like, I really think that if anything is out there, someone will see it. And
also, I just want to clarify, just for, like, the sake of this video, this person that we're talking about, somebody we both know, we don't have this, like, this
Why are we still on this?
I just want to clarify because there was a lot.
We don't need to clarify. We can like edit this shit out. Like we can do. Eli, we can do anything we want. We can tell lies.
Okay, but I'm just saying if you change your mind later, I want to clarify to the audience that if you change your mind about what you want to cut out, I just want to clarify. There was somebody in school that we knew who was friends with one of our mutual friends.
You're going way too far. You're going way too far here, buddy.
What are we gonna name? What are we gonna name? Can we keep with the Sonic motif or like the video game motif? I like the video game idea. Let's give him a video game character's name.
Okay, they call him Brian. Brian, like from Family Guy. Do that.
Brian the dog?
Yeah, just say Brian. Brian.
So Ryan McKee, our friend Brian Griffin.
Which one is it? Is it Brian Griffin or is it
our friend Brian Griffin?
Or is it Brian McKee? Okay, wait, real quick. Before we move on, I want to say that I have a coworker whose name, honestly, for all I know, this is the part that fucks me over. This is the part in the recording that people dox me for. But this guy's name is literally Chris Griffin.
That's like pretty generic. I feel like that'd be hard to find somebody based off of that because
people don't know. It's Family Guy. It's literally Christopher Griffin from Family Guy.
I know, but like you're saying, people could probably dox me with this. Like, I mean, first of all, nobody knows where you work, so they don't even know where they would need to look for that. And plus, Chris Griffin's a pretty regular name.
I guess, but I mean, like I said earlier, I'm like so. I feel like I sort of imagine that people perceive the world the same way I do. Like when I see someone, I swear to God, I will. Depending on who it is or like what I'm doing, depending on the person, if it's someone like I'm particularly interested in or like see that I decided to focus on, I will completely try and just analyze this person from beginning to end. Like I will just.
When you're watching a podcast and the podcast host mentions like a friend that they had in high school, is your immediate reaction to like try to figure out who that friend is?
Honestly, yeah. I feel like if it was small enough, like something like this,
that is crazy. Look.
People do that stuff. That's real.
But I mean, look, I don't think we've given like enough information for people to really work with. I mean, we're gonna bleep some stuff out, like all people know. Let's really analyze what people know about us so far. So far, people know that we're from Arkansas.
Honestly, the more we talk about this, the worse it gets. I feel like we should just move on, like immediately.
Look, there are only 3 things people know about us. They know our first name. They know our last name. They know our age range.
You gotta calm down. No, they don't.
And they know we're. That's the 3 things people know about us. That's like there's like 3 million people in Arkansas.
I'm changing my name.
But
continue.
Regardless, so our friend Brian Griffin was friends with one of our school's local Zan men, right? And this particular Zan man, he had a girlfriend who I guess like took a picture of him like twerking or some shit, like naked after they were like having sex or some shit. And like I guess like somehow our friend Brian Griffin, the dog, got like a hold of it. And it's like there's a picture that we have of him holding up the picture next to his, like, holding up the picture on his phone next to his face that, like, we all kind of memed about. Obviously, nobody has this picture now.
Oh.
But, like, at the time, what is so fucking funny? What is so fucking funny?
I just saw something really funny on my screen. I'm sorry.
So, obviously, like, you know, this was, like, when we were in school, and it was just kind of like a joke amongst our friend group for a while. And obviously, it was just kind of like an inside joke. Like, nobody really knew about it. But it's occasionally one of those things that we call attention to and, like, remember. And it's kind of funny. Because this dude was, like, covered in fucking fur like a goddamn Sasquatch. This dude was just, like, got a hairy ass, like, back and asshole. Fucking taint.
I love the Zan Man. Great. I mean, yeah, great person, but like,
yeah, I don't have an issue with the guy. I like the guy. I haven't spoken to him in, like, you know, like, years now because he got expelled for selling Xanax. But
Zan Man is the missing link between man and ape. Like, they are so hairy. It is unbelievable. It's honestly impressive. There could probably be like a world record made there, but their scopes are beyond that at this point. But
but I will say this: nobody who watches this is gonna know who we're talking about. All of our close friends know this.
It's gonna be like, it's literally gonna be 4 people who know what we're talking about, and maybe one outsider who we just don't really know, but still understands the reference. They just somehow found the video.
I mean, honestly, I think we upload this episode, and, like, maybe we don't advertise it, and then we can advertise episode 2, and then if people want to come back,
you do not understand how that's not how advertising works on YouTube.
I'm not. No, I mean, like, when I say advertise, I mean, like,
family
post
friendly.
it. Like, I mean, post it onto our story and say, "Hey guys, check this out."
Wait. Is the plan to eventually upload this to our stories?
I mean, not the episode, but we'll say, "Hey, upload this. Here's the link. Check it out if you want it."
I don't want to.
You wouldn't do it. You don't want to do it?
No.
Okay, we won't do that. We won't do that.
Maybe I'll change my mind, but at the moment, I say fuck no to that. If you want to,
I'm saying, like, eventually we want to. I mean, are we just gonna, like, put this out and, like, wonder if people happen to come across it one day?
Honestly, yeah, I kind of like. I mean, obviously, we're gonna share it with, like, you know, close friends and things like that. But I really do. I do really like the idea of us just uploading it, sharing it with people that, you know, we want to say, oh, like, check this out. Like, we're
fair enough.
Doing this or that. Maybe one day I'll change my mind. But honestly, right now, fuck uploading a podcast. Fuck.
Is it because I was talking about Brian Griffin and
no? Honestly, it has nothing to do with that. It's literally just I'm just a schizo. I just don't really like it.
Fair enough. But what is damn? I don't know. Is that good for the first episode? Is there more?
I don't think it is. I think we gotta say something else. We gotta. What we talked about so far. What is there anything that you immediately, like, draw your attention to that you're thinking about? I don't know. I was just saying, I don't know. I think this is a great unedited. Fuck it, we're not editing any of this. It's
don't edit any of the silence out.
Nothing. I shat myself on camera. Eli didn't hear it because I muted my mic. I shat myself on camera. You could hear the shit leaking out of my asshole. Not muting it. Everyone will hear.
So, Bo, do you want to talk about your?
No.
Are you gonna bleep that out?
Yeah. I'll make you sound like a weirdo. I'll make you sound like a pedophile, which you are. This is so crazy. I feel like I have too much power being able to edit stuff. I can just really.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a burden and a curse because,
it
like,
is. I
can just start listing people's names off, and you just have to, like.
I mean, to be honest, like, in the moment, I really find it. I just want to do everything for, like, fun's sake, but I feel like in a few days.
Yeah, when you go back to edit.
Whenever I edit this, and also whenever I do edit this, I'm definitely gonna call you and, like, maybe not call. Maybe I don't actually know. I almost feel like I want to be in Discord while I edit it. Like, I want you to be in Discord while I edit it, so that way we can, like, go through it and, like, oh, like, should we keep that or should we cut it?
Should we talk about the fact that, like, we had a picture of the school plug's asshole on our phone?
Also, and this is like, you're not seeing this right now, Eli, but there are totally going to be images that are popping up, like, throughout this entire episode. That are just.
Should we put up the picture of, like, that Brian Griffin picture where it's like?
No.
Where it's like we just blur out the stuff.
I'll ask Brian about it.
Are you gonna ask the Zan Man?
I mean, if we blur out the Zan Man,
surely
it
not.
really doesn't matter. I feel like I'd feel bad about it in general. I don't like talking about this, to be
And
honest.
by the way, another thing, like, I'm sorry, I just need to clarify this because, like, I understand that, like, that story, like, we were all in high school, but I need to clarify when I say, like, when I'm, just because I might say some stuff in passing that sounds like I'm being serious. In that picture, you can see like his upper back, and like it's obvious that he's like like he's in kind of like a twerking pose.
Have
But you can't actually see anything inappropriate. I just want to like clarify that so people don't think that that was just like something that we laughed about. Like it was just a funny picture.
No, dude, we're fucked. We can't upload this episode. It's done.
I was like, damn, I really need to clarify this one. Bo was like, yeah, like that picture.
Oh my god, how am I going to edit this? I have no clue. This is horrible. We should not be the ones editing this, but also I feel like we should be. Like it's really weird.
We definitely need to be the ones to at least edit this episode.
I feel like we should be, but also at the same time, I think that like maybe an outer party would be better at judging what we should or shouldn't say.
I disagree.
But okay. When I say outer party, I mean outer. Like these fuckers don't know who we are. They don't know what we're talking about. Like completely.
No, I disagree because they'll be like they'll heal. Fuck, I can't speak. I'm retarded. They will hear certain things and they'll be like, oh, I'll leave that in. That's harmless, and then they'll actually fuck us.
I mean that may be true, but I think that's sort of what editors' notes are for. Like,
fuck them.
To get on it.
Yeah. Fuck them. I mean, I don't even remember what I've even said these last like couple minutes. So
honestly, if you really want to, I could probably. Oh my god, I could probably upload this like entire thing by itself on YouTube, just unlisted, and only give you the link so that way you can watch it. And if you want to like highlight certain parts, you're like, oh, don't say that, or please keep this in. Like you really want to keep in. But it's really up to you.
I think so far we've done a pretty good job about not using names. Like obviously, except for when I was talking about, I said his full name out loud, just like I did just now. Obviously, you'll have to go in and like edit that.
Okay.
But, like,
you went from I just have to edit out this little part in this earlier part of the video. Now I have to go all the way to this part and bleep out that part of the video. Fucking cunt.
Look, I'm not gonna say his name anymore. I'm just saying. Obviously, you'll have to like. We've done pretty good about like not using people's names, so I think like in terms of that, we're good. And there might be like some silences that we need to cut out, but I think it'll be pretty quick. And plus, I'm thinking like we might want to end now. Like, because how long have we been recording? Like an hour?
Yeah,
40 minutes?
Just an hour.
Yeah, I think this is a good
No, I disagree.
I mean, it depends. If you have something else that you want to talk about, I mean, bring it up. Let's talk about it. But I'm just thinking, like,
honestly, you might be right. I really
want to have one of those moments where we're trying to figure out, like, okay, is there something else we could talk about? Like, I feel like you want to live in the moment, but you don't want to like overstay your welcome.
You're right. You're right. I did agree. I want to agree that part of me wants to like sit here and look something up real quick, but also like I feel like I'm just like becoming one of those trendy fucking shitty podcasts. I hate those fucking podcasts. But what I was going to say is that what was I going to say? You were saying something earlier, but continue. Sorry, continue.
I just don't want to create an episode where it's like it's obvious that like near the end we like ran out of stuff to talk about and like we're just kind of trying to make more content. I would rather just like save whatever energy we have left and just or anything that we have left to talk about and just devote it to the next episode and just write it down in like our notes or something.
Okay, I remember what I was gonna say. I wish we started record. I wish we weren't just talking before this episode because we probably would have had a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, I think we did pretty good. Probably
in the future, I would like it to where
I'm also like wondering how much should we of this should we keep in? Part of me wants to keep this in until like the end.
I mean, it's the first episode. I think
that's what I kind of like about it. I want to come back.
Anybody who stumbles across this on the internet, I feel like they'll be understanding of the fact that this is like the first episode. Like, I don't think they'll get too pissed off about it.
Honestly, I'm really pissed that I just can't upload this right now as is, but I know we can't do that.
Well,
I mean, I guess we could, but we just would have to say fuck it.
I'll say this. We want to do more episodes. Anybody who's watching this out in cyberspace, we want to do more episodes. You know, if you guys do like this, like the video, we're going to try to create more stuff like this. And hopefully as we go on, we're going to try to clean up the formula I want to have like prepared topics.
Like, comment, and subscribe, everyone. Hit that notification bell and get ready for the next episode of r/s.
Is that how we should do it?
Look, I think when we put the title in on YouTube, it should be r/sp. But I think when we say it, like we pronounce it out loud, we should just say RSP, the RSP podcast.
Okay, well that's completely fucked because
and then on our
literally the first, like, just earlier, an hour ago, I said r/sp podcast.
That's fine. It's the first episode. Both they understand the meta, they understand the canon. They can watch the first episode and hear this conversation right now. We're being recorded. We're being watched. Just add this in. Look, if you're watching this right now on your screen, I can see you eating that fucking food. Put it down real quick. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe.
Get your hand off your cock as well. Get your hand off your cock as well.
Yeah, that's I just saw you smell it. What are you doing? Stop it.
Whoa, does it smell like ham? Wait, give me a smell.
Oh my god! What the fuck? Bro, after you hit like and subscribe, you need to take a bath, dude. That's awful. That's
take a bath with your musty ass.
Look, like and subscribe. Thank you everybody for watching.
This is horrible. This is the worst outro ever.
Shut the fuck up.
We're gonna die. They're gonna kill us. They're gonna hang us.
We're gonna have some prepared topics next time around. We might even have some debates in the future. We're really gonna try to make it a nice variety show. We'll have guests on, but until then, we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Later. Bye bye.